Hey guys, welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast, episode 164. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Of course, Janet, our super fan, is always like the first one commenting, and we appreciate that. How you doing today, Jesper?
Oh, I'm a little tired.
You're a little
Janet,
tired?
see, it was just too much of a partying last weekend.
It was.
I'm still trying to, get up on. I can't even talk anymore. I'm still trying to get, my energy back.
I
Such a
went
party
to,
animal.
Friday night. I went to my first gay bar ever with my Gig Economy crew, and it was interesting.
What gay bar did you guys go to?
So it's called. So the joke was we were calling it the Woodcock, but it's
Oh, so
not.
I didn't know the wood shop was a gay bar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
No.
That's what Gabe said. So
Well,
Gabe bought a $28 drink.
yeah,
There.
I heard they had like $2 worth of alcohol in it.
Yeah, him and Sam shared it. So it was a cool little place, though. Like, I don't know what I mean. I don't know. I've never been to Rumors or what's the other one, the Apartment Lounge or whatever.
The
But
apartment lounge.
yeah, but no, it's cool. I'm glad to see there was another, LGBTQ plus bar in Grand Rapids. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. I had
Um,
I had an
Go ahead.
incident once with a couple of women had gotten egged outside of Rumors.
That's dumb. I heard of Rumors is a dope place to go if you want to dance. Like if you're into like dancing and shit, like
Yep.
club-ish or whatever.
L- Lots of girls go there just so they don't get accosted
Yeah, they don't get
because
hit up.
men are idiots and fools.
Right. So we did have our picnic this weekend. It went very well.
Yeah,
Had a good
picnic.
time. Had a couple social gatherings outside of that. So I appreciate everyone coming. Couple of pictures gonna throw up there. Got Janet and Tom sitting across from each other and her husband Gary. There's me
Yep.
over there, Sam, Frank from Philly, Larry, Matt. I think that's Pete, Gabe, and then Chris. Let's see.
Yeah, and then yep.
And that's Gary,
Larry and Gary and
Larry and
Sam. Yep.
Gary. And this sexy motherfucker, well, two sexy motherfuckers, Gabe on the right and Pete on the left. So if you've
There we
heard those
go.
names, then you
Yep.
kind of know. And then Sam right here on the far right.
So Pete isn't actively driving right now, but he's a OG supporter of the podcast, and we love him for that.
Well, he used to be on the show.
Absolutely, he was on the show, but he was also a full-time driver.
Yeah.
Yep.
This picture, there's me looking at my phone, and there's John right there from North Carolina. If you heard us talk about him, Matt right here at the back of his head. He hasn't been on the show, but Matt struggles with needs a kidney transplant and a heart transplant. He's a hard ass worker. And then this over here, This woman is Frank's mom, Mandy. So it was super nice to meet her too. And then here's a picture of all of us gigsters over there. There's Leo, far right, Chris, Matt, me, Gabe, Janet, Jesper, John, Larry, and Frank. There we go. So
And obviously, as you all know, Leo came in from Detroit.
Yep.
Matt and Chris are local. Gabe came in from Ypsilanti, but also kind of local. And then we had Janet, who came from, I don't even know, 28 hours away, something like that. New Zealand.
Crazy. Yeah.
Something crazy, and you took the picture away. So, but the cool thing
it was up there for 10 minutes. What do you want? Do you want to invite?
Well, I was trying to finish my story, but no, don't.
I'll put it back up there, you dirty.
The cool thing was that we had people coming from many states, and while we don't have a giant picnic, it's growing every year. We have more and more people coming, so that's very exciting.
The funny part of this is everyone out of here is not from the area except two people. Well, excluding Jesper and I.
Yep.
We had more out-of-towners than locals.
Absolutely.
And
I'm not sure why. I was discussing that with my wife a little bit. We have to try and do a better job, maybe getting it into all the local groups, which I think we put it in there. All that it's on all the podcasts and stuff. I don't know what we can do better, but
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I like our crew. I don't really care if it's small or big. I had such a great weekend. Probably the best one I've had with the crew. So,
and we had really good weather, and it's a good way also to just kind of celebrate with our fans. So we love that. So
for sure. Moving on, bad review. We got slashed.
We got flashed.
It's pretty bad. Okay, guys, here we go. I read the good with the bad. So I mean, at least we're getting reviews, right? 1 star, infotainment, heavy on the taint. That's a funny line.
Yeah, I know,
Looks
I
like
know.
the hosts of the show have enough gig work experience that they could share information or tips that would help new to moderately experienced gig workers. But it feels as though they consciously choose not to. Instead, you just get a bunch of surface layer warehouse style water cooler talk. Nothing really funny or entertaining. It sounds like the hosts don't enjoy doing the podcast or that it's a chore. Ouch. Also, the majority of
Yeah,
stories or information has been circulation for several days before the episodes drop. Lastly,
several days.
I know. Lastly, they operate in the same circles as many of the YouTubers in this genre. Yeah. Is that genre?
Genre, yep,
Is that how you spell it? That's weird.
yep.
As a result, you get a lot of the same boring guests. Okay.
Do you wanna, like, dissect it and talk about
Oh,
it?
yeah, Jasper. We're dissecting it. This is from Jiminy Longfellow in Washington. I definitely
Jiminy
did.
Longfellow. So I think the when you and I first talked about it, and you were absolutely correct. The first thing you said is we give lots of good tips and good feedback, and we do.
I feel
I
like
think
we
maybe Mr. Jiminy Longfellow picked a couple of podcasts where there what maybe wasn't so much to talk about, or maybe he was, I don't know. It was just weird.
the honestly is yes. Do we set a segment apart to give a tip? No, we used to at the beginning, but then we just use stories to be like, hey, just
Right.
remember if you're a new driver, this is super important, or this is something that I would focus on, but only when that stuff comes up. And it
And
might not
honest
come up on every show.
right. Right, exactly. And the one thing that we hear the most from our fans is that they like the banter between us. They like that it's also, just people talking about everyday life. It's
Yeah.
not all about how can you be as effective as possible. And let's be honest. I mean, gig work isn't it's not rocket science. How
Right.
often and how much time can we fill by talking about you got to use this
And
camera, you got to do this
and
and this and
Jiminy,
this.
how stupid are you that you don't know how to do gig work that you need a tip in every show? It sounds
All
like
the
you're
time.
stupid.
It's not, yeah, no, it's not that. No. I mean,
Okay, so next part, it sounds like the hosts don't enjoy the podcast or it's a chore. No, I love doing it, but can it be a chore at times? Of course. We've
right.
done like 250 episodes. Like, I mean, between interviews and everything, yes, sometimes it can be a chore, but fuck
And
off.
that being said, there's also not always, yeah, there you go, fuck off. There's not always that much stuff to talk about when it
Well,
comes
that
to about news,
yeah, so that's
you
the
know.
next thing is hilarious. Are you wanting us to like just take the news of that day that we're streaming or recording and just do that? Like you say several days before. What are we, a 24-hour news service, you
I
dumbass?
know.
Like
Like I
I could see if we pulled a story from like 3 months ago. Like, dude, seriously. And
no.
then we operate in the same circle as many of the YouTubers in the genre. Yeah, no, we don't. I'm barely on YouTube. We're barely on YouTube, but do we have a friend that gives us guests? Right. Honestly, you spent all this time. Like, I feel like you, it's just weird when somebody spends this much time to rip us apart. You know what I mean? But, anyways, I tried to stalk him. I couldn't find him. But
So maybe he's not that interesting. Sorry, Mr. Sibby Longfellow or whatever your name is. So
Jiminy.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, but anyways, no, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate that you took the time. I mean, I maybe agree with some of this, but not all of it.
I would encourage you to reach out to us and come on the show. Let's
Yeah.
have a good talk with you on the B side, and let's figure out maybe we can share a few golden nuggets with you on that one.
Nah, he can fuck off. And I almost said something real bad, and Janet was gonna stop the show. So it's something real bad. All right,
No, 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 no,
we're
no,
gonna
no,
talk
no.
about some gig safety, as you know. So just I'm gonna state this one more time. The B-side is only for interviews. We're not calling it the B-side, but every time you see Jesper's face, it's gonna be a shorter show. We're just gonna get into it. No ads, no bullshit,
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Jesper and I when we're in this, setup right here. So this is not a B-side. This is a regular show. Just, we're just gonna get after it. So hopefully Jiminy will be okay. He didn't complain about us not getting after it because usually it takes us like 10 minutes to start talking about gig work. He
Yeah,
didn't
we're now
complain about
12
that.
minutes in, so yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So this is an article, drive fast and carry a fake wallet, how Pakistan's gig workers stay safe. Let's see. We got to double check the date for Jiminy. What's the date on this? Oh, September 18th. Sorry. We're 9 days past. We can't
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Well, we can't talk about it then. Out. Next one. No.
Street crime has spiraled out of control in Pakistan cities and gig drivers often late nights. Which I didn't know Pakistan. I mean, I know they do gig work everywhere, but it was interesting. One of the guys says he had a mobile phone robbed at gunpoint. So now he keeps a dummy mobile phone with him. It's basically a dead phone. He told the rest of world. That's the name of the news
Right.
article or the paper. I keep that in a fake wallet and fake banknotes in case something happens. I just lose that. Nothing major. So I guess it's just out of control, and so there's just an article about the safety. Gig workers told Rest of World that they have come up with workarounds to ensure their safety, including driving as fast as possible, Jesper, when passing through dangerous areas at night and using location sharing apps so friends and family
Right.
know where they are at all times, which I think is important. That's kind of one of the reasons we have the Telegram group. It's always good to, check in
Yep.
on somebody. I always worry when, even when Jesper had that long trip. I mean, I didn't worry enough to stay up, but I know there
Yeah,
were people
thanks.
in there checking on
Right.
him,
Oh,
especially Frank
absolutely.
because he works nights.
So question here for you, and do you think that there's an opportunity here for the app to help be safer by maybe staying away from high crime areas? Like when you're driving, like let's say you're taking a person from A to B, would it be an opportunity for the app to kind of, not go the direct way through A to B, but maybe go stay out of areas that are very, very high crime when you have countries like that where that's what they're having?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that would be a good thing to do, but then there's discrimination, you know what I mean? And then it's
Oh,
also,
sure.
I mean, in those countries, they probably don't have the issues that we have in the States as far as discrimination lawsuits, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But, I also wonder if it's just like Uber and they're like, "Well, we wanna make money, so you know, we're not gonna neglect an area because it's dangerous." But I can see them doing it. Another guy in the article said, "If someone wants me to pick them up from a dodgy part of town at night, I call them up and first ask them come to the main road where there is traffic instead of them calling me to desert alley where I could potentially get mugged."
Yeah, let's have them walk
Well
from the bar through the deserted alley.
Well, in my head, it's like a main drag, and then there's a bunch of just short alleys, you know what I mean? Not like it's like
Yep.
5 blocks or anything, but, if you were
That's
to
very
guess
safe for him.
yeah, if you were to guess how many gig workers in Pakistan are, what would you guess? Because I'm guessing you didn't read the article, right?
I did not.
That's
Did
fine,
not read that.
that's
But
good.
I would guess there's probably about half a million divers, I would think.
1.7 million.
Yeah. Yep. Not one bit surprised at all.
2% of their labor force, which I thought was shocking. Um
I actually thought it would be more, to be
Oh,
honest.
really?
Yeah.
So here's a couple
2%
of
seems very little.
Yeah. Here's a couple things I highlighted. Ride hailing platforms in Pakistan usually only provide insurance on incidents that happen during the ride, leading drivers to fend for themselves when they're on their way to pick up passenger or waiting for rides. This is in reference to
Oh,
car insurance.
interesting.
When Ali
So the
Khan,
episode 1, 2, and 3 kind of thing.
yeah, but they don't have that. Complained about a robbery and request for compensation. He said he was told nothing could be done. The company said our relationship with you is limited when we connect you with another customer. You are traveling with the passenger. Once the ride is complete, our relationship with you has ceased. So I thought that was interesting too. Like, oh, you got robbed? Fuck you.
We
unless you
over.
unless you called during the robbery, we don't care. We don't have to deal with you after you drop them off.
Oh my word. That
And
that
then
seems wrong.
it does seem wrong. If something happens, you should take care of your driver. And then the
Yep.
last part, it reminds me of, what's happening here. The larger problem, according to Ahmad, is that gig platforms treat their workers as self-employed rather than employees. If recognized employees, workers would gain various labor rights like minimum wages, union membership, and compensation for injuries. So, what does that sound like?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it 100 times, right? I wouldn't want that. I don't want that. I have a job.
I mean,
This is
I know, but I definitely would want rights as if I got hurt, those kind of things. But like
well,
I don't
sure.
need everything, you know, all the other stuff. You know what I mean? So
I do. I
um
do.
I swear we're getting shadow. Okay, no, maybe now there's 4. Because at one point there was 0 people watching, and I'm like, wait a minute, are we getting shadow banned somewhere? Does somebody hate us?
I don't
Um,
know. Maybe they are.
Probably.
So
So
this
anyway,
next one here is kind of about safety as well. Only this one is is a driver doing a stupid.
never.
Um, oh yeah, very much never. So it's a DoorDash driver, and this happened in Middleton, which I'm actually not sure the state. Anyways, Middleton, and he goes that a DoorDash driver bringing Dunkin' to a customer. I'm assuming that must be Dunkin' coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
To a customer, got their car partially I like how it says got their car partially submerged after following their GPS down a dirt road. Yeah. So he followed the GPS into the water. That's really what happened.
Fucking
The
idiot.
driver said they were delivering Duncan to a home on Mill Street. The driver said they followed their GPS but ended up in a body of water. So, what do we do when we see water on the road? Do we stop? It's just, I mean, yes, look at the map, but always look at the road first, of course.
Yeah.
When Middleton police arrived, they found the car still running and partially submerged in water. The driver asked to be taken to an area hospital. Police said the car was towed from the scene. It does not appear any fluids leaked into the water, so that's good. The driver is expected to be charged with I can't say that, negligent operation of a motor vehicle. A request for immediate threat suspension was filed with the Registry of Motor Vehicles. So, in other words, he's done driving.
Yeah, that guy's not very smart. I don't know if you ever watched The Office, but there's a scene in The Office where Michael drives into the lake following the
I
GPS too.
I think I've seen one episode of The Office, and then
Oh
I didn't
man.
want to do it anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
So
that
this
not
this
me.
yeah, no, it's fine. This article remind me our good friend Larry was involved in an accident over the
Oh,
weekend.
yep,
Totaled his car. So just shout out to Larry for just a good recovery. Was not hurt, thank goodness.
yep.
But yeah, it was. I felt bad. That car. He's gotten hit in that car like 3 or 4 times. And of course, this wasn't his fault. None of them have been his fault.
No,
And
no.
that,
And this one, he was middle car in a 7 car wreck.
yeah, the semi 2 cars back finished him off because pushed the rest of the cars into his
Yep.
rear end. He's so funny. He's so kind. He was like, silver lining though. He goes, Jason, remember that rattle you were telling me about? We were talking about the other night. That rattle's fixed.
It's
No, no,
gone now.
no rattle anymore. Felt so bad for that guy. Gosh, after that great weekend. Everything,
Uh,
every time Larry and I get together, I get COVID. Larry and I get together again, Larry gets COVID.
well, that's
Larry
because
comes up
you guys got to stop, like, sleeping in what's it called, like hand in hand or whatever,
or no spooning.
Yeah, spooning and no spooning.
Larry comes up for the picnic, visits me and the rest of the crew, totals his car. Bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said though too, luckily it was Larry. And Larry, I mean, not to say there was good that anybody went through it, but Larry's gonna handle it. He'll come out on the top. He'll get a nice vehicle. It'll be all taken care of because Larry knows how to do shit. And so
Larry gets shit done.
I know he gets shit done. I have utmost respect for Larry. So he'll be right back driving, in a week or so, whenever that's taken care of, and it'll be fine.
Probably won't be a week, but soon.
However long it'll be for him to get the
I told him
insurance
he needed to
company
get an
to
electric
authorize a new
vehicle.
car, huh?
I told him to get him an electric vehicle. He laughed at me.
I'm thinking about getting one of those hydrogen cars.
That okay, and I'm an idiot for getting an electric car. Okay, moving
Well,
on.
I mean, they only have hydrogen gas stations, on the west and the east coast. I only have to drive a couple hundred miles to get to one.
Perfect. Today I found out this is on Reddit. Some of these Reddit posts are hilarious. Today I found out Uber drivers don't get a company card for gas. So this is not just a driver group. This is a Uber. I
Yep.
started following just a regular Uber group. So I filled my driver's car up. I also left him a cash tip so he will have the money to fill up his tank again. He was so nice and had the air conditioner on when I entered, unlike some of the cheap drivers. I mean, this could be scam. I mean, I don't know, but like, is it true? Does this guy really think? I mean, I have heard people say, "Is this your car?"
Oh yeah.
I've had people say that, like when I'm driving people around, like, "Is this your car?" I mean, they're
I think there's plenty of people out there thinking that we get paid for gas.
like we're employees, like we're like W-2s, and it's the
However
company's
that
car.
works. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fucking stupidest thing I ever heard. I don't know. I
But
just thought it
I mean,
was.
but at the same time, they all see and has visibility to how much their ride cost and how much we are paid.
I don't know. Like some people are just clueless in real world stuff.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
and this is
That's what I mean.
my wife, bless her heart. When she's at work, she's a freaking awesome. Like she knows everything. She runs shit. Like she takes care of those babies. Like no one questions her at all. But like I always tell her she's a princess when she comes home because like I take care of everything. And I think just some people are like that. They just don't really need to know about it or need to care about it. So they're just like, whatever. And then they ask those dumb questions and they sound like idiots. But I mean, that's not what I'm saying about my wife.
I was
But
gonna say that's not what you mentioned to your wife
I'm
at
gonna
all.
shut up. I was thinking when I brought that up, like that was probably a bad move. So all right, move.
I would like to point out to the fact that I know Megan, and Megan is super super bright
Oh, of
and
course.
is definitely with it. So no,
But if
that
you
is
if
not what Jason meant.
this is funny though, if you ask her, have you ever mowed the lawn or shoveled any snow since we been together for over 20 years? And she will say no.
Well, but why she shouldn't have to though, right? That's the
Why?
whole point, huh?
Hey,
Well,
why not?
I'm sure there's lots of things that can be said about you that you and I haven't done.
Hey, why not? It's all these women want to have 50-50. Go shovel some snow.
Actually, I heard an interesting thing the other
Oh
day.
boy,
I was
we're
listening
getting
to a
deep
Danish
shit.
podcast. No, but I'm gonna listen to this. It shouldn't be 50-50. It should be 100 and 100.
Yeah.
We should all give 100% all the time. It's not about giving 50% and then the other party give it 50. No, we all give 100%. That's what it means to be a family. You give 100 and 100.
Yeah, but when we're saying 50-50, we're saying I'll do 50% of the work and you do it. Not that we don't give 100% when we're doing that 50%.
Is it though?
I mean, I don't know, but you're right. You're right.
I
My
mean,
wife
I think
cooks.
what they followed up with was, people's 100 is different sometimes.
Yeah.
There's days where your 100% is less than mine, and it's okay
Yeah.
because that's what it means to run a family. Anyways, this is not Threats podcast. If you want to listen to that, go find that one out.
No,
So,
that one died. It's not
oh,
even the
that's
name
right.
of the show anymore.
That's right.
I hate you. Talk about this.
Sorry. So this is hopefully a fun joke and hopefully not the
I don't think
truth.
it's a joke.
But you can't just be making anyway. So this one here it was actually a email going out to Uber drivers that they can rent it now. But the idea was that Tesla drivers are earning $5.76 per hour.
Well, I think
Why
they
the
just
hell why would I rent a Tesla or drive a Tesla so I could make 5.76 an hour?
well,
Drivers, it
sorry.
goes, and I'll let you talk in a second. So it says drivers renting a Tesla from Hertz in LA are currently earning an average of $5.76 per hour. Teslas are eligible for the zero emissions incentive, which allows drivers to earn an extra $1, which means before they were only making $4.76 an hour. Up to $4,000 annually. You can also complete Uber Comfort trips in a Tesla, which riders pay a little more for than Uber X. Tesla rentals start at $334 per week and include unlimited mileage, insurance, and basic maintenance. Anyways, $75.76 an hour? No way.
Well, so I think they have all these, like, pre-done, right, in these equations and out whatever you wanna call them. Because 'Cause I've
Right,
seen some, like, drivers in your area are making, like, not in ours, but I've seen them post in different cities,
right.
like, making 8.50 an hour, you know what I mean? So I don't think anyone's actually like,
It
monitoring those. I think they're like, "Oh, it's our time to send it out, so let's put the calculation together," and then they send it out, and they're like, "Oh, shit. What did we do? We shouldn't have sent that one out."
Yeah, we're
Do you think
not
that
gonna rent Teslas.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
there is some interesting conversation about that if you are thinking about renting a Tesla or any car. It's gotta work out, like, I think it works out good with Gabe because he's grinding, like, that dude
Right.
puts in he probably does 2 to 300 rides a week, you know what I mean? Of course, it's gonna work out for him, but please don't rent a Tesla at $334 a week and go drive 50 rides. Like,
Right. Well, and then the other question I had, I don't know the answer to this question. Maybe somebody does. If you rent the vehicle, do you get to have do you get the 64 cents per mile subtraction on taxes?
that's a good question. My uneducated guess would be it's probably the same either or. You get to write off the rental or you get to write off the mileage.
Right. You don't get to do both.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, if you don't own it, although hmm, I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, the idea of the mileage is that it's also for the maintenance of the vehicle, and if you don't have the maintenance of the vehicle,
Right. Yeah. No, that's a
I
really
don't
good
know.
point. I'm
Maybe
leaning the other
somebody
way.
who knows anything about that, they can let us know. And if somebody wants to come on the show and talk about that, again, reach out to us at teams@gigeconomyshow.com. And I'd love to have a conversation more about, the economy behind renting a vehicle or a Tesla or an EV or whatever to do gig work in. So, anyways,
I have noticed that most of the rentals for Uber are EVs. I'm wondering because of the low maintenance on them, they can
sure.
charge this and then they don't need oil changes. They don't need typically don't need brakes. I mean, they will
Right.
eventually, but yeah, you don't see very many non-electric vehicles on the platform to rent.
That is true. My new car, and you probably know all about this. I mean, I honestly know very little about cars, but my van, the what's it called? The system that makes it easy to turn the vehicle. What's that called?
The power steering.
The power steering is electric. It's not. There's no fluid in my car,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
so there's no maintenance on the power steering. You don't have to do any of those. So I don't know, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't know that either that newer cars had electric. It makes sense, but I never thought about it.
no,
I don't
yeah,
think
they
my
keep.
wife's does, and it's in 16.
And that's another thing that's interesting. Every time I take mine to an oil change, how much do you think my oil changes cost at the local oil place?
I mean, if you get basic or if you get, like, synthetics, it's usually, like, $90.
Mhm. Try 156.
Yours is
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, it's 7 gallons of oil, right? And the filter is special, and
Oh, you said that.
they take the extra special kind of oil that's the only kind that's approved for the car. It's like, oh,
What is
but
Kia doing?
huh?
What is Kia doing? That seems
I
like a
don't know,
terrible
but it's 10,000 miles. I can drive 10,000 miles on an oil change easy.
Yo, wait, you don't normally drive 10,000 miles? I know oil
No,
change?
no, I will do 6 or 7.
Yeah, no, I synthetic is roughly about 5 or 6,
Yeah,
but,
but no, Kia has approved it. No, if you do follow their rules, you can easily do 10,000 miles.
huh, interesting. Well, I guess
So,
if but do you have to use their oil, though? Can you gotta be able to use other oil.
well, so if I go into like, so I use one of the oil change places up on Lake Michigan Drive, and they will only do what's approved for the vehicle.
Interesting.
So they have to follow. That's their internal rules, and so it has to be like this is the only. So I have to buy their like, most expensive oil because that's the only one they have that's approved for this vehicle.
It
Um,
it's probably a good idea. They probably started doing that saying, "Hey, if you
oh sure.
wanna if it's under warranty," I bet you out of warranty, you could probably do whatever you wanted.
Oh yeah. But I'm also sure that if I wanted to have them put normal oil in, they would. But I would probably have to say, sign a waiver or anything saying
Yeah,
that they're not responsible for anything.
yeah. I get
So,
that.
but anyways, no, they even I took the car to get an oil change actually before the picnic, and he said, "I don't have any more of that oil. You have to come back." So, what, how can you run out of oil?
Well, I
Like,
mean, if it's a special oil, I mean, he probably doesn't keep,
I
a
know,
tanker
but
full of it.
he did find an extra box in the basement. So oh, I found more. I'm good. So,
That's so funny. I mean, I knew, like, foreign cars, like,
yep.
German cars are really finicky about maintenance and stuff, but I never heard of Kia. I thought it was kind of more of anyways.
So anyways, yeah, that was what's it called? I digress.
I digress. So this driver, one of our listeners on our Facebook community Facebook group, which we'd love for you to join, talked about this. And I swear we talked about it. The name sounded familiar, but maybe I've seen it online, and so that's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Um,
I did not remember the driver spelled wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the name. But anyways, it's Move Your Car with Ease, the first on-demand app for personal car delivery. So the gist of it is like we'll drop your car off for maintenance, we'll move your car to another home, we'll move your car short distance across town or across the country. So basically as a gig worker, that's what you do. You move cars around. Um
Okay.
so I did apply for the job, and
Nice.
I was able to get through it in about 2 minutes. They do facial recognition and driver's license, and this is the first one that, didn't give me errors for I don't know, I think the beard really throws the
Yep.
camera when they're trying to verify stuff. So I think, so this is the first one that went through the first time, so I was pretty stoked about that. So did that, I did a background check, whatever, but I got a text. Thank you for joining us. We have received an overwhelming interest in your area. As a result, we are currently holding new applicants at the moment. We'll contact you once new opportunities become available. We appreciate your patience. But in the group, it said people were talking about how there was never any work. So, like, I don't know if, and again, market specific, right? We say that all the time. Hey,
Right.
Jiminy, that's a tip. It may be market specific, just in case.
Jiminy.
Jiminy, yeah, Jiminy.
Another tip. Huh? Hey, here's another tip. Use a webcam. So, no, no. Oh my
What?
gosh, I can't talk.
What?
Yeah,
What is happening?
always have a dash cam.
There
What
we
I
go.
was trying to say.
A webcam. I
A
thought you were like,
webcam.
I thought my camera was off or something, so you were making a joke. But
No, no, no.
oh,
So the next one here is actually also a new app, but it has nothing to do with driving, except unless you count driving a sewing machine. So this is a tailor. Did you see what I did there? This is it's the it currently the app is only in Great Britain as far as I can understand. It's called Soho, Sojo, or whatever however you want to say that. But yeah, it's for tailoring services, and so um,
I'm sorry.
it changed the title.
So you can still
Well,
click on it.
anyways, well, I have the app. So, anyways, the idea is that people who are good at sewing can sign up, and they can get jobs for like little or big jobs for getting things fixed when it comes to clothing. And what the app is saying is a lot of they're doing it for obviously a number of different reasons, but one of the big reasons they're doing is they were seeing a lot of clothing being thrown out for no reason, because a lot of these clothing that just have a small thing wrong with them, people just they don't have a way of getting it fixed, they don't know how to do it or whatever, so they'll just throw it away and buy something else. So some part of that is for that. They did just get a second round of investors. So it sounded like they got some angel funding. I think it's at 2.8 million pounds, and basically the biggest part of that was because they had gotten a lot of interest from some Scandinavian clothing brand called Genny, if I remember that correctly. Um, and it doesn't. The article doesn't state more than that. That was interesting to me, though. Interesting in the sense that maybe are they going to be using Zoho for production? I don't know how that works. So that's all
Hmm.
kind of interesting. But again, I always like hearing about um, new apps, and if you're good with a sewing machine and your Etsy store isn't super super busy, maybe this is a way of adding a little bit to that.
Well, I think it's more repairing stuff and more like, no, my pants are too long. I mean, that's how
Oh
what
yeah,
I think of it as a gig. I told Jesper before the show, in our local like community group, I see people asking for, "Hey, I need this hemmed and sewed," and it's
right.
it's a it's a talent or it's a skill, just like a lot of skills are kinda going to the wayside, so they're
Yep.
they're they're hot in demand if you can do it, but I think this is great because, most of that stuff, you don't really need a backlog if you're a seamstress, you could do it real quick, and I
Right.
I think that would be amazing if you needed something done instead of, like, trying to find somebody, you go on Facebook, you're messaging these people, but to have an app be like, "Hey, I need these pants hemmed, like, how much?" You know what I mean?
So it's interesting you brought up the concept of hemming, because that's not something I ran. I mean, every time we bought a pair of pants in Denmark when I lived over there, they had to be hemmed, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you buy pants, or at least growing up when you bought pants, they would just be too long because you don't make the pants in several different lengths. They come and you have to hem them,
You mean for
right?
children or adults?
Anyone, it didn't
That
matter,
does
right? You would have to hem them, and you get them hemmed.
that doesn't
My
happen
mom
here.
would used to hem pants all the time, huh?
That doesn't happen here.
I know, but that's the thing because here you buy pants and you have they have set lengths of the
Yeah.
pants. So that's my point is I don't think on the American market I don't see hemming as being a big part of
Oh,
Soho
got
because
you.
you buy the pants or or what's your what's it called leg length or whatever you want
Yeah.
to call that and then so yeah
Well,
I've never seen that until over here, huh?
the hemming happens a lot in my family because 'cause I'm short, so it was tough for
Sure.
me to get pants that
Yep.
fit my fat waist and then not be super long. It was
And
tough
that
to get
makes
those
sense.
sizes. It's actually gotten a lot better as America's gotten fatter, but, like, early on in my younger adult which I wasn't as heavy, but I struggled
Right.
being so short to get pants that fit my waist that weren't super long, but,
And
um
obviously, if you're talking about more expensive brands or your suit or anything like that, that will still have to be hemmed, of course.
Oh, yeah, because you
I
want
mean,
those fit
that's
like a
not we're
T.
not talking about a pair of Lee's jeans from Maya, right?
Yeah.
So
Last article, and then we'll wrap it up. Best states for gig workers. I thought this was kind of funny.
it was an
Um,
interesting thing. Yep.
the data set ranges from the average annual earnings of gig workers to cost of living per capita tipping rates and worker classification laws per state. And I'll just get right to it. Michigan is number 50. Best state for gig worker. Michigan's number 50. Uh, yeah,
In a
there's
list of 0 to 50,
correct 1 to 50.
if people
Top
don't know
10.
how many states there is.
Jiminy's going to be mad at this.
I know.
Jiminy is gonna be mad.
Hey, it was another tip, there's
I
50
mean,
states.
maybe. Yeah, you're right. Yep, maybe he will be
I mean,
but did it happen today?
I
No,
don't
it
know.
happened a long time ago. All right, the top states for gig worker, I'm not gonna read them all, I'll read the top 10. Maine, West Virginia, Arkansas, South Dakota, what the fuck? New Hampshire, Hawaii, oh, no, we knew Hawaii was good. Connecticut, Vermont, Wyoming, and Georgia. Um Again, we could probably link this up so you can there's like scores at the bottom, like there's like methodology and income tax and all kinds of stuff. But average annual earnings, highest was in Florida, lowest in Michigan. Uh Gig worker compensation, highest in Delaware, lowest in Vermont. Projected gig work growth, highest in Mississippi, lowest in Massachusetts, but they're currently I think they're the next state that's talking about the Prop 22 crap.
Right. Yep.
And then customer tipping rate, highest was Delaware, which they were highest on gig worker compensate or no, that's competition. Is that competition?
Competition,
Did
yes.
I say compensation? I'm a dummy.
Yes.
Can't
But it's
read.
okay, competition.
And then customer tipping rate lowest in California. So it's funny on all these top 5 uh and highest and lowest, Michigan only got in the average annual earnings, which is
So I
weird. Why
didn't
why do you think
I
that
didn't understand how they came up with the numbers at all because I looked at it and it made no sense. But what you just mentioned, I wanted to touch base on that for a second. You said the state with the lowest tipping rate is California.
Yeah.
But don't you think that's because of that stupid Prop 22?
I mean, it's possible.
because people are already saying, "Well, you're already getting paid, a livable wage. I don't need to tip you."
Well, yeah, or is that Prop 22 coming from so it comes from DoorDash. Let's just use DoorDash because they're always the example.
Yep.
But it's coming from DoorDash, but are they charging the customer? Does it say Prop 22 money to the customer? So are they
Yeah, I don't
tipping
know.
less because DoorDash is
Mm,
dipping into the customer's pocket more?
could be.
Yeah, that
Could
doesn't
be.
surprise me. That's so funny. California. Fucking idiots. Sorry, John. He's not on here,
And
so I can say it.
on that note,
I would say it anyways. All right,
fucking
guys, thank you so
idiots.
much. That was hot and dirty, quick and fast. Next week,
Yep.
be a regular show, and then the 11th we have somebody coming on that's for the B-side. So I'm looking forward to that. Please, 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 if you are listening to this show, we need more people to come on. If you're a gig worker, I don't care what you do for a gig. I don't care how long you've done it. We do like talking to new people. It's not as
Mhm.
scary as it looks. You heard the show. We're pretty laid back. We won't drill you unless your name is Jiminy. If you come on the show, I'm going to drill you until your taint hurts, since you used the word taint in your. I wish I could. Oh, I hope he listens to
But
this.
we'll only let him come on the show if he promises to share it with his audience.
Yes, exactly. His mother, because he lives in his mother's basement. That's his audience.
Oh my gosh,
All right,
Jason,
guys.
you had
Have a
to
great.
stop. You had to,
I had to start. That was
you
a good.
had to do that. You had to go there. Is what I
Hey,
was
it
trying
was
to
a good
say.
closing. As always, guys, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we'll see you on the road.
Good night.
Good night.